Alright, coming to you live from New York City. Glad to have you back. It's great to be here, as always, on Sports Talk Radio MMA for this week's Fight Eval. Last week's matchup were interesting to say the least, and we're all looking forward to this week's slugfest. So without further ado, today's matchup, Fight Night 158, an ESPN Plus event happening September 14, 2019, taking place in Vancouver, Canada at the Rogers Arena. It's Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Donald Cerrone, 36 years of age, hailing from Bloomfield, Colorado, USA, standing at 6 feet tall, weighing 170 pounds, fighting out of the BMF Ranch Association in the welterweight division. His record is 36 wins and 12 losses, one no contest. Cerrone's timing is impeccable. He's a great counterpuncher and always finishes his opponent when he has the chance. His powerful leg kicks to the body will definitely stop you in your tracks, and his experience and knowledge in the octagon is overabundant, not to mention his ability to submit you on the ground. But all in all, he's a stand-up guy, and his presence in the MMA is similar to the Dos Equis guy in the beer commercial. Everybody loves him. Some fighters may think of him as the grandfather of the UFC because of his veteran status and the amount of fights he has under his belt. But in that octagon, Donald Cowboy Cerrone is anything but old, showing great skill and poise. Definitely a fighter to be feared and respected. Unfortunately for him, Justin Gaethje fears and respects no one in that octagon. He's a rabid dog, and once the gates close, the only way to get out of there alive is to put him down or lay down and wait until the ref comes to save you. And knowing Cowboy Cerrone, that's not going to happen. This is fitting to be a war between him versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje, 30 years of age, hailing from Safford, Arizona, USA, standing at 5'11", weighing 155 pounds, fighting out of the Genesis Training Center Association in the lightweight division. His record is 20 wins and 2 losses. Justin Gaethje definitely has something to prove. Only 5 fights into the UFC, and I believe he could be a top contender to compete for the lightweight championship belt. He's beaten who is considered the division's greatest kicker, Edson Barboza, and one of the top strikers of his time, Michael Johnson. I believe after this fight and one more versus one of the top 4 contenders in the division, he could be able to stake his claim to a title shot versus the champion. But first, he has to beat Cowboy Cerrone. Justin Gaethje applies a different type of pressure in the octagon, unlike anyone else I've ever seen. No one backs you down and corners you off better than Gaethje, and his calf kicks are a key player in the game, probably the best in the division. He's a powerful striker and does not care about punishment, taking about 10 strikes average per minute in every round. This is going to be a great matchup. 2 stand-up fighters that don't like to back down. Cowboy Cerrone has beaten Alexander Hernandez, he's beaten the Raging Bull Ally Quinta, and in his last bout, lost to Tony Ferguson. He's fought most of the top fighters in the division. Unfortunately, he's also lost to most of the top fighters in the division. He's lost to Jorge Masvidal, Robbie Lawler, Darren Till, Leon Edwards, and Tony Ferguson. When placed up against some of the biggest names in the division, he's fallen short almost every time. Will Justin Gaethje prove to be in the race for an upcoming title match against the champion, or will Donald Cowboy Cerrone put the division on notice and let everybody know he's coming for that belt? Go ahead and find out. I got my pick, Justin Gaethje. Go ahead and make yours, and we'll see you on Fight Night at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, Canada. I'm Roman Raves, and this has been Fight Night 158 pre-fight commentary. Justin the Highlight Gaethje versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone on Sports Talk Radio MMA for this week's Fight Eval. For your next matchup breakdown, you don't have to wait because it's starting right now.